Welcome to the Musselman Podcast. I'm Steven, and my guest today is Eric Ashby Brown, the Mr. Brown. So this week, it's week 6 of the high school football season.
My goodness, has it been that long?
Yeah, it flies right by. We got some big games this week. Of course, the biggest one is Martinsburg versus Musselman.
Well, we're going to go all around the state, aren't we? Hills of West Virginia.
We're going to go all around the state. We're probably the biggest game in the state.
So we're doing the pick'ems, you and I.
Yeah, we'll do some pick'ems. So we'll avoid Martinsburg and Musselman because that's very.
I'll just tell you the history of it. I mean, we were very fortunate to play well against Martinsburg at that time, but they were all close games. With coaching, when I coached, we never were able to get Martinsburg, and I actually coached for Martinsburg too. So I know a lot about all the teams around.
Well, yeah, you coach Hedgesville too.
I coached Hedgesville. I didn't coach at Musselman. I played at Musselman. Yeah.
So.
And I coached Martinsburg.
So first game we'll get into is Woodrow Wilson and Preston. Woodrow Wilson's 4-1.
Okay. So you got the Woodrow Wilson Flying Eagles. This is usually a basketball team, but by gosh, they've been moving it up in football too. And they're playing against Preston. You said?
Yeah, Preston. Preston's one.
Preston Knights.
Yeah,
I think I'm going to pick the Woodrow Wilson Beckley Flying Eagles in this game. I think they're moving on. What's your pick?
I got Woodrow Wilson.
All right, so we're agrees with this one.
So Wheeling Park and Morgantown. Now Morgantown's number 1 in the state.
Morgantown's got that fullback that is really good, and I think Shane Beiser, he's from Kaiser. He's running that wing T well. Park got beat by University a couple weeks ago, unexpectedly in this. I remember going up and playing at Wheeling Island. I hated that drive. Where is this? This is Morgantown?
This is in Morgantown.
I'm going to pick the Mohicans.
Well, I know Wheeling Park lost their quarterback last year, and I know they also lost that 4-star recruit receiver they had.
The really quick kid.
Yeah, the really fast kid. Last year, or a couple years ago at States, he ran like a 10.5.
Okay, he ain't running this week.
He ain't running there. Morgantown's 4-0. They beat us in a defensive just.
I watched that game. I wasn't there, but I did watch it. Yep.
I got Morgantown in this game.
We got
wing T. It's
okay. All right.
13-6. That's
all right. I'm not picking scores, but I'll pick.
I just feel like that's a 13-6. So the next game is Capital versus Cabell Midland. Now Cabell Midland, 5-0.
Cabell Midland, the Knights. I was able to visit that for soccer this year. Phenomenal facility in that.
Great.
I think Capital, the Kanawha County schools are down, and that could be another broadcast we look at with that. But the Capital Cougars, I don't think they're going to win this one. I'm going with Cabell Midland Knights in the victory.
I'm going with Cabell Midland too. Last year,
you're picking everything I'm picking.
Well, I mean, these are pretty easy picks. So a lot of these matchups are, but I mean, Cabell.
We're like twins. What's that called?
Twin'em?
We're twin'ems.
We're twin'ems?
Yeah, you're twin'em meeting.
No, but Robert Shockey's the quarterback for Cabell Midland.
How do you
just know this. And the running back for Cabell Midland was they were the quarterback and running back duo for Park South last year.
Okay.
So
they're a lot of transfer.
So there was a lot of transfers.
Okay.
So I got Cabell Midland winning this game. They got a top scoring offense. Defense is great. They're 5-0. Capital's 1-3. Capital's been in a down year.
That Cabell County versus that Kanawha County. Okay.
It's going to be Cabell. So then you got Roane County, who's a AA team, at 5-0 versus Ripley, who's 0-5. Roane County's number 2 in AA.
And the Ripley Vikings. I remember Ripley Vikings actually coming over here and playing in Hedgesville. I think it was about 98 in the playoffs, and Hedgesville Field was just totally decimated. They played at Martinsburg. I'm going with Roane in this one. I'm going Roane County over the Ripley Vikings.
Well, I know Ripley. I mean, a couple years ago they were good because we actually played them in the playoffs. This was before my time.
I do remember that.
We played them in the playoffs. I can't remember if it was home or away, but
it was home. I think it was here. You're right.
So I mean, Ripley obviously they've been in a down year for the past couple of years.
Okay.
So I'll take Roane County too. Now you got Huntington and Riverside. Huntington's the defending state champs. They're 4-0. They're 3rd in the state. I'm taking Huntington in this.
I'm taking Huntington. I'm taking the Highlanders in this one.
Yeah.
Riverside is a little down. That is the alma mater of what would have been Randy Moss. DuPont becomes Riverside.
DuPont.
But I do think the Highlanders win this one, and I think it's going to be big. I don't know. We don't have a stat boy. We're just going off of our guesses here.
Yeah, so then of course now this is kind of surprising. Princeton They're taking on Greenbrier East. Greenbrier East is 0-4, but Princeton's a surprise.
The Princeton Tigers,
number 4 in the state.
The Princeton Tigers have played like Bluefield. This year they've had a tough schedule. They play a lot of teams in Southern Virginia because there's not a lot of AAA schools down there. I'm going with the Tigers in this one.
I'm going with the Tigers too. Again, the thing of it is, this week I don't think there's going to be a lot of disagreement until we get to some of those double A games.
I think because you're listening to me.
Yeah,
that's what I'm picking first, and you're like, okay, but Twinums.
But yeah, the next game, G-Dub, George Washington, goes to Parkersburg. Parkersburg's having a bounce back year. They haven't been good for the past couple of years. They're having their bounce back year. They beat Park South. They're number 6 in the state. Parkersburg. They're 4-1. I'm taking Parkersburg. I mean, again, George Washington. The
Patriots. A lot of history with Parkersburg too. I tell you, I have another podcast. It's called the Hail Mary Podcast with Jason Kamlowski. We've been doing this for about 6 years. It's totally fake. We call each other. It's at 7 in the morning, and from 7 to 7:20 we have this. But we're hoping to go live. But we talked about this. We both picked Parkersburg South. We were wrong. Parkersburg wins out now. Parkersburg got beat by Cabell Midland, though, did they not? I think Cabell Midland came up on a defensive stand. I remember going out at Parkersburg, I think it was 99, when Todd Mosby, that group was playing, probably one of the best Musselman teams I'd ever seen. And they play against Parkersburg. Parkersburg ran 4 plays. They ran stove, they ran curl trap, they ran waggle, and they ran belly. They had a guy named Babe Davis at the fullback. Alan Trammell was their tailback, and I think Mark Kimes. Again, we don't have stats to tell us that. I think he went on to Fairmont. I think he was quarterback. That was a dominant team. The Big Red is back.
It's back.
The one that we need to be able to talk about on this show. Picking the Big Red.
Me too. All right, so we got 3 more games for AAA, then we'll get into some of the top AA matchups. So
we'll pick like 1 or 2 AA.
Yeah. Washington and Spring Mills, EPAC. Washington is 2-3, but they play those weaker schedules. They did beat us a couple years ago when they had kind of their season.
Got a new coach. Glenn Simpson has moved on to athletic director at Spring Mills. Really good buddy of mine.
He knows everybody.
Coach Hessen did a phenomenal job with the defense. With that, I'm picking the Spring Mills Cardinals over the Washington Patriots.
Well, they're
picking after me.
Well, they upset us a couple weeks ago, and I don't even think that was necessarily because Spring Mills is a lot better team than I think. I think athletically as a program, they're on the up. Basketball's good.
I'm picking Spring Mills.
I think Spring Mills is a pick. They're 4-1.
Yeah.
Then you got Bridgeport and Brook. This is probably the closest.
All right, Bridgeport what?
Bridgeport and Brook. Brook's 15th at 3-2. Bridgeport's 4-1.
All right, so you got the Brook Bruins versus the Bridgeport Indians.
And it's in Brook.
There's no love lost for Bridgeport. I remember going there for my senior year, and you walk out on the field and there's nothing but mud. They ran a Maryland I, like a stacked I.
It's turf now.
It's turf now. And they're running the single wing, which the single wing is very difficult. Bridgeport had a loss against Morgantown early in the season, which was close. I think it was like a 2-point game or something like that. Again, we don't have stats out here. We should have somebody that's telling us that. But I'm going with the Bridgeport Indians over the Brook Bruins.
The thing that makes Bridgeport just feel like this unstoppable force is...
Except they're playing Morgantown.
Well, except when they play Morgantown. Well, the thing of it is, they're very similar teams because they're just a bunch of well-fed country boys that run wing T. They're big.
Bridgeport wins single wings.
Some type of wing formation.
Yeah, there's some wing.
There's some wing. So Bridgeport runs single wing. Morgantown runs wing T. Very similar teams. So whenever they play, that's why it's always like 6-3. I'm taking Bridgeport too. I don't think Brook has the size or the speed to take out the Bridgeport Indians.
Okay.
I think Bridgeport gets to 5-1, should move them up in the rankings.
Yeah, all right.
Now, here's the last one. This might be the biggest game of the week outside of our game. Hedgesville at number 16, but playing better this year. They're 3-2 versus the Jefferson Cougars at number 14. They're 2-2.
Okay.
I'm taking Hedgesville.
All right. Again, a coach at Hedgesville, Matt Faircloth. He was there when I was there. I taught his wife in class. And Jefferson is coached by Craig Hunter, who played football when I played with his cousin Daryl. Man, it's a tough one. Right, where is it?
Tough. It's in Jefferson, so I think that'll be tough because Jefferson, they play better when they're in,
on that
Shenandoah
turf.
Junction.
Okay, it's on that turf. It's on that. It's at home. Okay, we haven't disagreed in anything today. We're going to have to disagree in this. I'm sorry, Hedgesville. I'm sorry, but I think I'm going Jefferson.
Jefferson. Okay, yeah. No, I got Hedgesville. I think they're a quarterback. They got that senior kid. He's pretty good. And Jefferson's kind of in a down year.
No, wait, I'm changing. I'm going Hedgesville.
He's going Hedgesville.
I'm doing it. Yeah, right here on the show.
All right.
I just did it.
All right, so now AA teams.
All right.
First AA game, 5v4, top game of the week, Mingo Central.
The Miners versus Scott. Scott beat Wayne earlier this year. Scott's on a roll. I like Mingo Central, but I think Scott's going to win this one.
Okay, yeah, no, I mean, look, both teams are undefeated, so
that's a big one.
Yeah.
If you had to be somewhere, if you have nowhere else to go on Friday night in the state of West Virginia, that would be the place to be.
I don't pick the game because I don't know the AA teams as well.
Okay, all right, that's fine.
Then you got maybe the biggest game of the week. It's
everything you say is the biggest game.
Every game's a big game.
We got all these biggest games of the week, ladies and gentlemen. They're all the big games.
North Marion versus Fairmont Senior. North Marion's undefeated, #1 team in the state in AA, but Fairmont Senior's always a great program, always churning out top teams. Who you got?
Fairmont Senior.
Fairmont Senior.
I have Fairmont Senior.
I'm going to take North Marion.
Okay.
I know a little bit more
I thought
about
you weren't picking any of these ones.
I know a little bit more about that match.
All right, I think Fairmont Senior played Bridgeport. Fairmont Senior plays a AAA schedule for the most part.
Yeah, and they're very good.
I think they're going to come out and they're going to win. Is that the Huskies and the Polar Bears?
Yep.
All right.
Huskies.
The North Marion Huskies. Hey, if nothing else, no mascots.
So do I.
Why you all do that?
Yeah, well, it's just Anyways, so here we go. Single A. All right. This is another big game. All right. But I don't know if it's the biggest in the week.
Is it the Hardy Bowl? Is the Hardy Bowl this week?
What's the Hardy Bowl? I don't
The
know.
Hardy Bowl is East Hardy, Moorfield. It is the Hardy Bowl.
Well, this one is Williamstown 5-0, #2 versus St. Mary's 4-0, #3.
Look, I saw St. Mary's at the beginning of the year. I was able to watch them on TV. They came to Doddridge and they ran the wing T. I think they were in a single wing. They were in a wishbone. They were in all kinds of different formations, if memory serves me right. And they walloped Doddridge in that one. Who they play?
It's Williamstown and St. Mary's.
Is that the Yellow Jackets, I think? And I can remember St. Mary's coming to Mussman, I want to say it's 1992, and there was a young Butch Branch on that St. Mary's team that ends up defeating the Mussman Applemen. So I am giving this out to you, Butch Branch, right here. I am picking your alma mater, St. Mary's, to win that game.
We'll have to make sure Butch Branch receives.
Can we call him? Can we phone a friend?
We can phone a friend.
On this. All right, you're gonna have to keep talking because I gotta look to see if I can find.
All right, so now we're gonna go into some WVU.
Okay.
Their schedule. You got the WVU gear on right now.
It's W Thursday. That's why.
Yeah, they're 3-1 right now. I think that they lost the first game of the season to one of the top teams in the country, Penn State, and they played Penn State pretty tough, in my opinion. So this week they got TCU. I think
West Virginia's winning this thing. I mean, if Colorado does what it did to TCU, I agree. Can we call Butch Branch?
We can call Butch.
All right, I'm gonna call him right now. All right, hold on a second. I always make sure that they know. He may not answer. He might have things to do. He's at the board office. Hold on. Hey, Butch. Not a problem.
We're holding on just 1 second.
He's busy, guys. Okay, what do you got? He's on the phone.
He's up.
You got to fill it in. What do you think? What's WU have to do to win this game?
What do they have to do to win this game? Well, so I have a little confession here. I'm actually an LSU fan, okay? So I don't watch WVU games. So I think they win this game. I don't think TCU is as good this year. They lost their super senior last year at quarterback, Max Duggan. So I'm going to take WVU. Like I said, they had a gritty win against Pittsburgh, against Pitt in the backyard brawl. They beat Texas Tech last week. I actually did watch that game. You look at the WVU schedule here. I don't think it's a ridiculous statement to say they could beat TCU. They could beat Houston.
We're not playing Oklahoma. We're not playing Texas.
They're not. And so, I think they got BYU, who just got added into the Big 12. Cincinnati. I think it could be very possible WVU could go 10-2, 9-3. Baylor's not that great this year. So Neil Brown, there's been a lot of rumblings about people wanting him gone. Okay, certain people in Morgantown that go to WVU. I know they want him gone. Mr. Welch wants him gone, but he might save his job this year and actually have a winning season for WVU in the 2020s. It's a crazy thing to think.
Hey, Butch, I got you on, I don't have you on speaker, but we're doing a live podcast, and we're picking out schools around the state to win. And one of the games is Williamson versus St. Mary's. Your alma mater, right? Can I put you on speaker and let you pick that game? All right, hold on. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Mr. Ron Branch from the board office, and we're going to pick this game, St. Mary's versus Williamson. Mr. Branch, who do you have in that game?
I would take St. Mary's over Williamson. St. Mary's has gotten off to a great start. They've had some dominant wins, some wins where it was close at halftime, and they came out in the second half and turned things on, which I think is a credit to their coaching. I just think that St. Mary's is in a good position to win this game this weekend.
And that is your alma mater, correct, sir?
That is correct.
Yeah. And didn't you come to Eastern Panhandle, I think, about 92 and play the Musselman Appleman in a playoff game?
No, that was in the 80s.
Oh, well, I got everything wrong, ladies and gentlemen.
I was still a youngin' back then,
right.
but that did happen,
So I'm coping with senility.
But yeah, I came. I graduated in 1994. We did make the playoffs of my senior year, but we did not come over to play Musselman.
All right. I just had the years backwards. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, that's Mr. Ron Branch in there. Thank you, Mr. Branch, for your guest pick'em for the week. Tune into our podcast. It'll be on the Musselman podcast probably next week, and you'll be able to hear it.
That is awesome.
Hey, spread the word at the board office and especially Jason Kamlowski, okay?
Right on.
All right, thank you.
Yes, sir.
All right. So there's our guest picker. We're going to try to have some more of those in as the weeks come along.
All right, so we got one more thing.
All right, one more thing to talk about.
All right, it's just a specific game, no more schedule, no more, but there's one more pick-up.
Okay.
All right, your Pittsburgh Steelers. You talk about a gritty rivalry, hated rivalry. They get the Baltimore Ravens this week.
No, they don't play Ravens this week.
They don't play the Ravens? No, that's the Browns. Who do they play this week?
No, they play they're playing the...
I had that wrong.
Texans or something like
They're
that.
playing the Texans. They might win this game.
They're going to win this game.
But let's look it up right now.
Titans.
We're going to look it up right now, the Steelers.
Now, we got to have somebody with stats over there that's filling us in.
Yeah,
so that we have all that
It's
stuff.
the Texans. It's the Ravens next week. So
we're going to beat them. We're going to beat the Ravens.
Yeah, so the Ravens, and the Texans, they're not a bad team, though. They just recently beat the...
Look, I have been a Steeler fan since I was 6 years old. And unlike some people that I will not name, Jason Kamlowski, I will always pick the Pittsburgh Steelers. I don't care who they play. Greenwood, White, Banaszak, Beazle, Dunn, Furness, and a 10-time All Pro named Joe Green. Ham, Cole, Dave, Winston, Valentine, and Mr. Lambert. Blunt, Woodruff, Wagner, Thomas, and number 31, Donnie Shell. That's a 78 defense for the Pittsburgh Steelers. There you go. Always a Steeler fan.
Well, I just, want to remind you of one thing, though. Back in 2020, the Pittsburgh Steelers were 11-0. and the then Washington football team walked in there with Alex Smith and did beat the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Sometimes that happens.
You know, so anything can happen. You know, that's the point. The football team was 4-7 going into this game. I'm actually going to pick the Houston Texans to win that.
This guy, bro picking Texans. All right, so hey, is that it for our show?
I think that's all for the Muscleman podcast.
The Muscleman podcast.
Yeah.
What do we call this segment?
We can call
the Hills of West Virginia. We're going to go and visit the Hills of West Virginia and see all the football teams. We're trying to bring that out on Thursday for your pick'ems. Now, we have nothing to go by at all, so we're just trying this, but we'll see what happens. We'll try to get some more stats out there for you. It's our first show. You got to give us a little bit of time.
Well, that's all we got, ladies and gentlemen.
All right, Twin'em.